I'll call this meeting to order for the Sheffield Board of Selectmen for Monday, March 17th, St. Patrick's Day, in case you didn't know. First item on the agenda is the approval of meeting minutes.
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes from February 18th, 2025, February 19th, 2025, February 20th, 2025, February 26th, 2025, and March 5th, 2025.
I'll second that.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next item on the agenda is an update and discussion regarding a bridge inspection reports. Rhonda, would you like to bring us up to date on this?
Sure. So this is one bridge. It's the Berkshire School Road Bridge over Schnapp Brook. It was inspected in August. We just received a report in March. The deck has an 8. The substructure, one of the substructures has an 8, and the other one has a 7, which are all very good to good. The bridge was put in 2020.
Well, it's exciting to know that we have one of our bridges in good shape.
It's under 5 years old.
It's only, yes.
They must have done a good job when they put that bridge in. Any questions, any discussion? Guess we can move on. Item number 3, discussion and action regarding the memorandum of understanding for tobacco inspections.
I did get a chance to read this fully, and I don't support this memorandum of understanding. My reasoning is I'm not in a position where I feel we should be using a nonprofit to check out our local establishments to see if they're using or following the age requirements. From my understanding of what I read here, they're using underage trained individuals to go into establishments for the purpose of finding out if they will card them or not. I've had no complaints about any of our local establishments selling tobacco products to young people, and I don't feel this is necessary.
Is that a motion?
I make a motion that we do not approve the memorandum of understanding with Massachusetts Health Officers Association Incorporated.
Are you willing to second that motion?
I'll second it for discussion,
Okay.
I guess.
Your opinion?
I guess I have a few questions about the last meeting. We had some information about who had been there to do an inspection and whether that aligned with this or not, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did we get
And
anything
I also
from
love,
the
I think Pat probably can give us some, and I'd like to know Pat's take on all of that.
Pat Levine, 261 East Main Street. To my understanding, that was a tax inspection. It was not, it certainly was not a public health inspection, and was checking the produce, the products for the appropriate tax stamps and things of that sort. Had no bearing on the the issues before the Board of Health and its responsibilities.
Well, my understanding from reading this memorandum is they are a nonprofit, and we would be supplying them with an option for a grant from the state of Massachusetts to provide young people that are underage but trained to go into establishments for the procurement of a tobacco product.
That is one aspect of the typical inspection cycle, which is currently done by Tri-Town for 6 or 8 of our neighboring communities. It's the absolute standard on how one goes about this. They are trained and employed. This is not a career job. I mean, they are used for this purpose in a very legitimate way. I'm not sure I understand your objection.
Yeah, that's a good question. It's at least from the last meeting, one of my assumptions was also it's about understanding what product is allowed to be sold and not sold, and apparently that's complex nowadays, right? Because
Yes.
there's all these flavored tobaccos and chew and all of these various things.
Right.
So I guess I'd love to know how are we currently examining that in the town, right?
We are not
Okay.
carrying out our state mandated responsibility. We have done education with the various establishments and provided them with materials and have checked to see that their signs are available and posted. But we have not done any checking on, we've told them what products they can sell and what they can't sell, but we have done no checking of that and checking their inventory in the back room to see that they're not stashing things that they're not supposed to, et cetera.
And do we have an obligation to do so?
We do.
Okay.
We do. It's a state regulation that we're responsible for enforcing, and we have not done it. This gives us an opportunity to do that on a temporary basis until it is my hope and the board's hope that in about a year or 2 years, we'll be able to join the Tri-Town Tobacco Enforcement Project program, whatever exactly it's called, that would then provide these services to us as they now do to half a dozen or more other area towns.
And we're not available to do Tri-Town at this point because they're not expanding at this moment?
Right, the
Okay.
state has not allowed them to reopen that. There are 3 communities in the neighborhood that would like to get into it, and we have asked to get into it, but we can't because the state hasn't opened up that grant to allow for expansion. Tri-Town believes that will happen in the next year or 2, but it hasn't yet.
Okay.
Okay, so we have a motion to not go forward. George?
George Lane, Foley Road. I was at that last meeting. As I understood Silks, they already said that the state comes in, inspects them for not only for what they have, but what they may not have, and also from time to time they have had underage, undercover people come in and do it. So I mean, it's just a duplicate of services from what I can see.
Thank you, George. So we have a motion and a second to not move forward with the MOU. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Nay.
So the motion passes as presented to not move forward with the MOU. Okay, the next item on the agenda is discussion and possible action regarding transit assessments for FY16. So we met with Tate. I think you weren't here.
I wasn't.
Okay. Yeah, we met with Tate last week to discuss the ridership for the, oh my God, I'm going blank on what this is called. Tri-Town Connect. Tri-Town Connect program. And we asked him to give us some more specific information regarding the number of riders, and Rhonda did send that to us today. And so I personally feel that while it is a very large increase, I think they are providing a very important service. And I think that, you know, if they come back to us next year with as large of an increase, it's certainly an opportunity to question it. We gave Tate a lot of statistics that we would be looking for going forward because his software doesn't currently break things down in the detail that Lee and I were asking for, and he indicated to us that he's also being asked of that from other towns as well. So we're not the only ones questioning, you know, how our taxpayer dollars are being used.
And part of it is asking for a quarterly report to have an understanding of what the projection for the next year would be. In addition to that, understanding the number of new unique users, possibly even understanding, are they Sheffield residents, are they people coming through the community, and having a deeper understanding of how this is being used. He broke down some figures already for us on unique users, but even that, I think that their current software is less exacting than where they're moving.
I felt a little better after receiving the last rider information that he presented in an email, and I feel a lot more
I'd be happy to make a
comfortable that
motion to
it's-
accept this, go on.
I will second that motion.
So motion made and seconded to support the Tri-Town's budget request of 25,000. Was that right, Rhonda?
Yes.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so then the next item on the agenda, number 5, is discussion and action regarding zoning bylaw changes for associate members and commercial district. Rhonda, can you update us on this?
Sure. So the first one is associate members to the planning board. We're currently only allowed by our bylaw to act as a special permit, on a special permit, not on any other board business. And so we've taken that out and will allow the associate to participate in any voting matter that the planning board has before them. This has been looked at by town council, and the wording is fine. The planning board, I believe, is going to have a special hearing on this and the other bylaw change in early April.
Great.
The second one is currently in our bylaw on the table of use under general business uses, construction businesses and heavy vehicle storage. There's a no in the commercial district. And so the proposal is to change that no to a planning board, where it is allowed in the general business and it's allowed by planning board in the rural district. And so we'd like to change that no, or the proposal is to change that no to a PB. This has also been through town council and have had his comments on that.
And so planning board's looking for our support on both of these.
I would make a motion that we support both.
I'll second that.
Motion made and seconded to support both changes to the zoning bylaws. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Update on the town administrator position. We did a second interview today of our candidate, Nick Cockmo. He had quite a lengthy interview with us today, and the board is planning to meet later this week to discuss our next steps, whether or not we will be moving forward with making an offer. That's the update on that. Update on highway garage. What do you got? I've been kind of in the dark lately.
I don't really have much. At our last meeting, it was decided that EDM would do a little bit more work, and then we would schedule another meeting to see the progress and the changes that we've asked for from the first design. I reached out to them last week. They were waiting for the civil engineer to complete their work, and I know that they have reached out a couple times to Jill with questions, and so we're kind of in a hold mode waiting for them. But I will send an email tomorrow to see if they're ready to move ahead with scheduling a meeting.
And they're collecting data on phase 2 as well, right?
They are.
To prepare themselves,
They are.
yeah.
It's moving forward. It's just moving forward at the molasses in
Municipal
January.
Municipal
Yeah,
pace.
municipal pace. Yeah, great.
Yeah, I think it's moving municipally is the actual
Is that how?
Yeah.
term.
Item number 8 is action regarding nomination of inspector of animals. Rhonda?
So you have an inspector of animals position, which is currently filled by one of our police officers, Caden Shafroff. This nomination has to be sent in May. It's not in line with our annual appointments. They always ask for it a little early. And I would just ask the Board of Health if they are endorsing Caden to continue in the position.
Yes, we did that at our last meeting.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll make a motion that we move this forward if that's needed. Yes.
I'll second it.
Motion made and seconded to move forward with Caden Shafroff as the inspector of animals for Sheffield. All those in favor?
Aye.
Did you have a vote?
Aye, sorry.
That's okay. It was
I was just
crickets
reading
over
the
there.
next item.
It was
I
crickets
smell
over
somebody's
there.
corned beef and cabbage in the background, and I'm distracted.
Okay, discussion and action regarding audit engagement for FY25. Rhonda?
So we have an engagement letter from Adelson and Company, who's been doing our audit the last few times we've had an audit done. So this would be an audit of FY25, which is the year that will end on June 30th. So they'll come in sometime late summer, early fall. I don't have a timeline yet. The financial statement audit would be $22,000. An audit of open balances is $2,500. And then if we're required to have a federal single compliance audit is $4,500. And that'll depend on the receipt and expense of any federal funds. So ARPA may play into that, but I'm not sure if it was broken up enough over 2 fiscal years that we don't have to do that, but they'll certainly, our accountants will certainly weigh in on that and whether that's needed or not.
And this seems like a reasonable sum to you for an audit.
It does.
So 27,000 if you need all 3 parts is
Right.
quite reasonable, I think.
And we only do an audit right now every 3 years. That may have to change once you begin borrowing and bonding for a highway garage if voters approve it. So that may make a little bit of a difference on how often you have to do this.
Yep.
Are there any concerns about how we'll be staffed in this moment? I mean, I don't think we have much choice anyway, right? But
I don't understand your question.
in other words, like if we're without a town administrator,
That
I don't
doesn't,
know what role you play in dealing with the auditors, or is it very minimal and they're really all?
It is minimal. I mean, there are times when they need more. I mean, I meet with them when they're here and afterwards, but it's mainly they'll ask for information,
Okay.
we'll supply it, we'll discuss things like the management letter ahead of time. Before it's presented to the select board and the finance committee, we have a chance to respond to that, so.
Great.
Okay. I'll make a motion that we accept or hire Addison and Company for our audit.
Seconded.
Sign the agreement.
Authorize Rhonda to sign the agreement.
motion made and seconded, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Board member items.
Last week, Rhonda and I had a meeting with Berkshire, Southern Berkshire Ambulance to try to look at the cost containment for the years ahead. And I just think I wanted to just put that in front of people that we've spoken with them, because this coming year has a somewhat significant increase that we were all concerned about. And we've talked to them in a similar manner that we did around transit, of getting a quarterly report so we can have a little bit of a heads up of where we're at in subsequent years. And also talk to them about potential fundraising and understanding of other spots where they could get monies from. And actually it felt like I think a pretty productive meeting.
I think it was. There was also discussion on ways to get more information out to the public so that they better understood the program and how things like that gets financed.
Yeah, thank you for doing that meeting, Lee. I think it's very helpful to drill down a little deeper on things.
It was fun. It was really a productive, responsive meeting. It was very nice.
Bob?
I'm good.
Great, so am I. Town administrator items.
No.
Oh my gosh. Public input, comments. George,
I just wondered,
could you stand in front of the microphone so they can hear you on TV?
I was just wondering what the situation is on the Schnaub Brook Bridge on Foley, or Kelsey rather.
So there's an informational meeting. We email blasted that information out. There's a public hearing on Thursday at 6 o'clock.
The abutter's gonna get notices on it?
No, it was just put out by email blast.
It's a Zoom meeting.
It's DOT, it's not us, right?
Right.
Yeah.
It's a what?
It's a DOT Zoom meeting on Thursday.
It's a Zoom meeting.
It's a Zoom
Right.
meeting.
It's not us, it's the Department of Transportation that's holding the meeting.
Yeah, I mean, my understanding was there's gonna be a meeting, a public meeting where the abutters would be personally notified about this with a sketch of what the bridge is supposed to look like and what they're doing to it.
They will have that information at that meeting, George, but we've never done abutters meetings for bridge replacements that the state is working on.
You can get the Zoom information
It's right on the website.
And dial in. I'll be attending on behalf of the town for that meeting.
Pardon?
I will be attending that meeting by Zoom for the town. Any other public comments? Renee?
Renee Wood, 928 Boardman Street. There's two items that I'd like to bring to the board's attention. I think they're in your packet. I thank you, Jill. The first one is a request from the town of Alford, which is looking to involve Egremont, Sheffield, Great Barrington, and Alford on a revolutionary trail, and is asking for is submitting a grant application to the state of Massachusetts under the MA 250, which is a grant opportunity to celebrate Massachusetts' role in the Revolutionary War. So the town of Alford approached me just because I know some people, and I've been in touch with the Historical Society, which, given all the work that they have done on the veterans' graves with the grant that was gotten by the town, as well as the extremely rich history that we all know Sheffield has in the Revolutionary War, they will be providing a letter of support. And the town of Alford and they do not have a historical society, but their historic district commission is seeking letters of support from the 4 towns involved. So I just brought this forward to you. The person from Alford, maybe I made an error here, but I thought maybe we could handle it rather than having them come down and spend a lot of time going over what's in your packet, okay? I also just drafted a draft letter for your review to kind of pump up Sheffield while also giving support for this grant. And I'm not expecting you to make a decision as to what's in the letter or anything. I'm just wondering if I could report back to them that you are looking favorably on this.
I think that's the most we can say tonight because it wasn't on the agenda, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
got
So
this call this
I don't imagine there's any
weekend.
opposition.
So there's no opposition to.
Okay, that's good
Is
enough.
that a sufficient answer?
That's good enough for me. Yeah, I just got that call this weekend. The other item, so thank you very much. I will let them know that there's no opposition, but this needs to be handled correctly. Okay, thank you. The other item is in the same boat, but I wanted to bring this to your attention because I know we're going to need to have a separate meeting on this. And Rhonda and I have kind of discussed this a little bit. There's a decent-sized grant that is available, $3,000 to $10,000, to kind of push a little bit more with the reduce and reuse and donate aspect of items that are no longer needed by someone. I provided you a draft of this grant, and my goal is that possibly you will let me be on your next working session agenda so we can discuss this and I can get your input and ideas. This is almost a year-long plan, but it's a large grant to do in the sense of the budget work. So I would like to know that I have the board's support to do this grant, which I have no problem completing. But if there's no support, obviously I can't be doing it. Okay? So this was just to kind of give you advance notice on this and request that I be on your next working session if you have time, or if not, the next one after that. So
We'll
that was,
definitely get you on the.
It's
that
May
was
6th, right?
basically it. Okay? Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Renee.
Anyone else? Great. I'm open to a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.